The first episode of the Undeniable series on how to make your blue belt undeniable came out recently, and I got a lot of great feedback. Thank you guys for watching. So happy to have you here. But in the comments section, there was a lot of kind of back and forth on, belts, if they mattered or not, and, you shouldn't focus on the belts. And I think that I was responding to each of these people, and I wanted to provide a little bit more of a nuanced discussion of this because I think belts do matter, and I also think they don't matter, but for different reasons than you might expect. And along my journey, I had different thoughts of why they do and why they don't matter, but now that I'm standing here as a black belt, I have a different perspective on why they do and don't matter at the same time. Right off the bat, just the elephant in the room, I don't think belts necessarily correlate to someone's skill on a competition mat. Case in point, both Nicky Rodriguez and Jay Rodriguez have had phenomenal results in ADCC, which is the pinnacle of our sport, and they did it as blue belts. So to sit here and be like, black belts reign supreme, or like your goal should be to get that black belt to be good, quote unquote, is just not true. All right, you have guys coming in from different sports, coming in from wrestling with different backgrounds that are very successful in jiu-jitsu. There's not that long-term time component there that kind of prevents them from being successful at a high level. They don't have to wait to get their black belt anymore to compete with these guys and do well. So in that sense, no, I don't think the belts matter. But I do think they matter because people care about them. And just that in and of itself makes them something worthwhile, something to strive for. I don't agree with charging people for belt promotions or holding it over their head. I had quite the political kind of thing going on with my black belt, which I honestly didn't think I was ever gonna get one. It got that serious, which obviously I finally did. I'll post that for another day. But getting your belt's a fun thing. It's a positive thing. It's a affirmation that you're heading in the right direction. The way I view belts, and the reason why I'm making the Undeniable series, is I feel like as you go through the belts, there are things that you should be focusing on. Does that mean a white belt shouldn't focus on the same things that I'm focusing on? No, it doesn't mean that at all. You can focus on the same things, but people are gonna be at different capacities. If you take Nicky Rodriguez, obviously, he was good to go from the start. And if you take somebody off the street who has no athletic background, they probably aren't gonna be looking at the same things that I'm looking at working on a day-to-day basis. They're probably gonna be just trying to get those basics down. And that's where Undeniable comes in. The Undeniable series is about, I can walk into any gym and feel confident that I am the belt that I am. In and of itself, maybe that doesn't matter to you, and that's fine. That is true to a degree. It doesn't really matter. I can sit here and put this white belt on and I'm not gonna get any worse at jiu-jitsu, right? And I can go and hand you, it's off the shot right now, but I can hand you this black belt right here, and if you just started yesterday, you're still gonna be not that great, with all due respect. It doesn't mean you're just immediately gonna be good. And the reason why we don't do those things and we just give out belts freely is we don't wanna water down the system. But sitting here as a black belt and someone who's starting to, trying to do this YouTube channel and make somewhat more of a living through doing jiu-jitsu as a sport that I love, it definitely matters. If you have someone who knows nothing about jiu-jitsu, but they've heard about it, maybe they heard about it from a friend, they wanna look into learning some self-defense or a way to just get fit, and you see two gyms, and one gym is run by a purple belt and one gym is run by a black belt, 9 times out of 10, that person, if everything is equal, they're gonna go to that black belt. And that's not negating that purple belt. Maybe that purple belt's a world champion. Maybe it was Nicky Rodriguez when he was a purple belt. I'm not discrediting that purple belt can't run a great gym. It's just, it is a fact that if people look at a gym and they see a black belt, we all know what black belts are, regardless if we do jiu-jitsu or not. We've all heard of, oh, so-and-so is a black belt in this, and so-and-so is a black belt in that. We know that it carries a level of prestige, a level of expertise or mastery, if you will. So to say that belts don't matter is kind of disingenuous in a financial capacity. I can charge more as a black belt for privates than a purple belt could. That's not saying that that purple belt might not give better instruction than I do. It's not a comment on that. It's just a statement of fact. And that, in my opinion, I guess it's an opinion, right? My opinion is that the black belt is going to carry more weight with people that don't understand the sport as much. So in that sense, in that regard, it definitely matters. It's a nuanced topic though, because I believe that the belts should be based on skill, but everyone's skill ceiling is different. And I think everyone should have the opportunity to get their black belt one day, but you do need to earn it, right? You earn belts, they're not given to you. So, you know, you have to take things in different levels. If a 70-year-old walks in here today and starts jiu-jitsu, what I'm looking for out of that person is gonna be very different than an 18-year-old that's just walking in here. It just is, and I think they're both capable of earning a black belt. It's just gonna look different for each of them. This is not gonna affect your skill at the end of the day. I can wrap any of these around my waist and my skill's not gonna change, and the same for you. If you're promoted to a blue belt, let's say you walk into class, it's 9 a.m. and you're a white belt, and an hour later you get promoted to a blue belt, nothing's fundamentally gonna change in that hour, right? You're not suddenly gonna become better at jiu-jitsu or any of these belts. It's just not gonna happen. But I'd be a liar if I didn't say that I was excited when I got my blue belt. I was stoked, it was my first belt promotion. I'd also be a liar, you know, I was still excited when I got my purple and my brown, but I didn't care as much, I'm not gonna lie. My black was a different thing though, I definitely cared about that, and that meant a lot to me. I don't think you should be chasing belts. I never did, that is something I can say honestly with you, and you know, might be a little disingenuous that I'm standing here as a black belt. I was concerned about getting my black belt due to stuff that was going on. But I know I never chased belts. I wanted to stay back. I wanted to be a blue belt, a purple belt, and a brown belt as long as possible because it let me get better and be a better next belt, whatever that might be, right? When I was a brown belt, I got to stay a brown belt longer, and that just made me that much better when I finally got my black belt, which is a positive thing in my mind. Just like jiu-jitsu, if you're training, and if you hyper focus on hitting a certain sweep or hitting a certain armbar, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do those things as far as like, okay, I want to try to hit kimuras from everywhere and see what happens, or hit triangles from everywhere and see what happens. That's fine. But if you try to force those things at all times, people are eventually going to figure it out and you're just never going to hit those things. If you're just hyper focused on something like that, it's hard to see the bigger picture and grow and learn new things. And if you hyper focus on getting these belts, it's difficult, right? You end up focusing on not necessarily the right things, which is just daily improvement. And I think that's the sentiment of the people that are like, belts don't matter. I think that's the idea behind it, is you want to focus on just getting better every day. And that is something that I do talk about often in my classes. And I think I refer to it quite a bit on Stop, Talk, and Roll as well, is have something to focus on, work towards that goal, work towards improving things, focus on things for a while, and then move on from there. That lets you build up your skills, build up your confidence, and sets you on the path of, you know, navigating through these belts. I do want to make it clear though, belts definitely should not have any kind of, should not create any kind of hierarchy or respect in the gym that makes one person bigger than the other or anything like that. I don't agree with that. The brand new white belt that walks in here and the black belt owner are the same, both people at the end of the day, and deserve the same amount of respect. There's like no reason for anything more or less that, you know, kind of cultish behavior, if you will, that can happen in martial arts, and jiu-jitsu is not immune to those cultish-like behaviors as well, or culty gyms that can arise. Kind of summing it up, it's a nuanced topic, it's complicated. They matter and they don't. It might matter to you, it might not matter to you. I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is make sure you're having fun. This is a fun thing that we do. It's a way that we work out and we sweat and we develop friendships. I know that all of us that train jiu-jitsu get that the friendships you make on these mats for some reason are just stronger than a lot of the friendships we make out in a bout. I think it's something along the lines of like, we're simulating killing each other and we're not, and we're trusting each other not to. And those are important, intense engagements that we have. And to hyper-focus on a piece of cloth is definitely detrimental to your progress or just your enjoyment, in my opinion. If you focus on that belt, this does nothing for you. It doesn't, insofar as your skill. As a financial thing, I do believe it has an impact for sure. It's definitely gonna be easier to market yourself as a black belt, simple as that. Once you get into it, obviously, you learn that there's nuances to that as well. You have phenomenal black belts out there, but you also have phenomenal blue through brown belts that can teach really well or compete really well, or maybe you have a different criteria. There's different kinds of black belts out there, right? Like, I'm not out there marketing myself as a world champion by any means, because I'm not. I just have my own views. I've been doing this for a long time. I happen to have different skill sets that a lot of other people don't have, such as a master's in special education and 16 years of teaching, right? Like not in jiu-jitsu. I mean, I have my jiu-jitsu experience as well, but teaching in a classroom where I spend all day, every day, working with kids from preschool through high school. So I have a different way to approach this than some others might, right? Like, I'm not gonna have, I've competed, but I would never claim to have the same competition accolades as a lot of the people on here. To sum it up, this is a complicated, nuanced topic. I'd love to hear what you think. Do you think belts matter? It's hard, again, for me to definitively say yes or no. I think both are true at the same time. It just depends on how you're looking at it. But I do know this. I love jiu-jitsu. I hope you love jiu-jitsu. I hope you have fun doing this. Make sure you're having fun. If you're having fun, these will come. You'll get better. That's kind of what it is at the end of the day, what it's all about. All right, thank you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely comment. Let me know what you think about this topic, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.